Hey, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is your girl, Addie from AddySpeaks, helping you live to your highest potential through your mind, your body, and your spirit. Now, my coach, Latoya Okia, shouts out to her, gave me an assignment, you guys. Could you believe homework? I hate homework, but I felt like this was necessary for me to do and an opportunity to have my first content. She wanted me to go deeper in the studies of the vision of an eagle. And as I was reading about the vision of an eagle, I also read about how they are faced with an obstacle. Have you ever been faced with an obstacle where your back was against the wall and when your life was dependent on it? You were faced with an obstacle and only one decision could get you out of there. And so as I kept on reading, I was led to a section of that article where they gave the eagle's lifespan, right? And so an eagle can live up to 70 years. But they said that in order for an eagle to get there, they have to make a decision. And I'm like, how can the most powerful bird be stuck with a decision? How can the most powerful bird be so vulnerable? Right? And so what happened was, or what happens in that decision is that either they're going to allow the change to occur, that they may reach their highest potential in life, or they're going to die. And as I kept on reading, it just resonated with me. You know, half of y'all don't know this, but in the last 5 months, I was left with an option. I was left with an obstacle. Either I'm going to die in this pain or I'm going to move forward, move in God, trust God that God has my back. And I chose God. But before I get into that, let's continue to learn about the eagle. So they can live up to 70 years, you guys. 70 years, right? But in order for them to reach that, they have to do the work. What is the work, Addie? The work is that they have to they have to do it to themselves, right? Sometimes we don't want to deprive ourselves for the things that we love, but we have to in order for us to reach our next level in life. We have to in order for us to reach our highest potential. So they have to seclude themselves. They have to make a decision to be vulnerable. They have to make a decision to trust the process. It takes 150 days for the process to occur. So in the process, they have to rip off their old feather. In the process, they have to break off their old beaks. Do you know how painful that is? To have to break and rip off the old layer, to have to face the fact that you have old habits that's not getting you to the desired place, to have to face the man in the mirror, right? And so while they're doing that, they're left naked. The most powerful bird in the sky is left vulnerable. Anything can happen to the bird in that 50 days, in that 150 days. But because they trust the process and because they know that they can be better and they are willing to see themselves in that next light, they're willing to do the work. So the bird sits there for 150 days, naked, no feather, no beak, and then trusting the process. And that's what I had to do. I had to face Addie. I had to face the old habits, the old thought process, the way I used to speak, the people that I used to hang around, the places that I used to go to. I had to face that those weren't the things that I needed. Those things were not helping me to be a better person. Those people was not helping me cultivate the gift that God has given me. If anything, they were killing it. One person said, Addie, you would never change. Another person said, Addie, this is who you are. You ain't gonna ever change. It is what it is. And I said, no, I choose better. There's no way that my life should be this way because I know what God has for me. So I had to make a decision. I had to make a decision because I had a vision. I was seeing things I was seeing things that other people wasn't seeing. I was seeing who I was supposed to be. I was seeing who God has called me to be. But if I didn't, isolate myself into the hiding place, because that's what they called the place where the eagle have to go to rip off its old layer, is the hiding place. I had to go to the hiding place. I had to make sure that in this healing process, God had to make sure that in this healing process that he gets the glory. Right? So I had to face myself. I had to swallow hard pills to realize I had bad attitude, to realize I had a bad characteristics, to realize I had bad thought processes, to realize that my mindset wasn't where it was supposed to be, to realize that if I continued to stay in that environment, that I would have died. So I had a decision to make. I had a decision to make, and I made it, right? And so when the eagle makes his decision to allow the process to occur in his hiding place, okay? In his hiding place, do you know what happens? Do you know what ability that he now have? He have the ability to soar even higher. And some say that some of the eagles are able to see the face of God. How far are you willing to go? How far are you willing to trust God to go and be who God has called you to be and not what people think you are? I had to grow out of the mindset that people put on me. I was like, wait a minute, I know who I am. I'm not going to sit here and allow what people think I am to be a reflection of me. That's not my reality. That's not my reality. That's not who I am. So the bird, the eagle, is able to be even greater after the process and live up to 70 years. Live up to 70 years, you all. Half of us are dying in the process because we don't want to fully trust God, because we are scared, because we are fearful. Well, how about you dare to live again? Huh? How about you dare to live again? Forget what everybody is saying. They're going to keep saying it. That's their hell. That's the loop that they're in. But God is calling you to greater. God is calling you to your hiding place so he can mold you, so he can take away, chisel away all the things that are not good for you, that is not taking you to your desires. Half of us are not doing the self-reflection. Half of us are not doing what we need to do, the work that it takes for us to get to our highest potential. And in this healing process, I had to realize that it was not only my mind that I needed to transform. I needed my spirit to transform. I needed my body to transform. God needed me to be at my highest potential for the things that he has called me to be, for the person he has called me to be. I am light. This is why, this is a side note, but this is why I hold on to this sunflower, because in my hiding place, I couldn't see. In my hiding place, it was dark and I needed light. I said, God, I needed light. And I had my friend's keychain that had sunflowers in it. And it reminded me of the light because I was in the storm. I was in my wilderness. I needed to see the light. So I held on to the sunflower for dear life. I held on to God and his promises for dear life. I held on. And I said, God, I trust that you will do it this time. You will do it this time. I'm just gonna stay here. I'm gonna meditate. I'm gonna pray, and I'm gonna allow the change to occur because I know you have called me to greater. I know you have called me to greater. And y'all, I know I look silly with this edge band, but I tell you one thing, my edge is gonna lay. It's gonna lay, baby. Right? So let's get back into this message. For some of us, God is calling us to our hiding place. He's asking, Addie, or so and so, can I take you to this place? Can you trust me enough? Because see, I was battling with trust issues. I mean, I didn't even realize, if I didn't go through my, my healing phase, that I didn't even trust myself. And people don't even understand how powerful it is to trust yourself. To trust that voice on the inside. Your intuition. And once I started doing that, my old self, my old habits, my old thought process started dying. When I started to say my affirmation, it started dying. My mind started to become renewed. I started to be transformed by the renewing of my mind. So again, some of us are being called to our hiding place. Some of us are being called to be healed beyond pain, but beyond what we thought we had to heal from. I was also healing from trauma. Childhood trauma, being abused mentally, physically. Y'all don't even know that. And some of my friends who call themselves my friends don't know that. But people are going around and talking, and don't even know me for real. Huh? God is calling us to a hiding place, a sacred place where only you and Him are communing together. Are planning together. If you haven't planned your life with God, you better start now. If you haven't trusted God, you better start now. Allow God to pull you away from these so-called friends. Allow God to take you away from what you love so you can be what you need to be. What you need to be. Some of us are not living for real. We're just existing day to day. I just want to encourage you guys. My sunflowers. This is why I wear my sunflower crown. It's in my car, but don't worry about it. Okay? My sunflowers, my light bearers, the divine ones. I'm just so happy to be a part of that too. Miss Latoya Okia, shouts out to you again, to be the divine one, to know that I am chosen. Because see, again, I lost the vision. But when God cleared up my vision, boosted me up to my highest potential, I was able to see and believe in my affirmations. I am chosen. I am the light. I am the voice. I am the missing piece. But first, before I got into that revelation, I had to go to my hiding place. I already had the vision, but I had to go into my hiding place. And some of us went to the hiding place, but still not seeing the light. And I just wanted to shine the light to you guys. Hey, light bearers, God is with you. Do not lose focus. Do not lose your vision. Do not lose it based on fear and doubt and what people thought you were or what people say you are. God is calling you. Leave these other people alone, these naysayers, these doubters that question you. Are you sure God has called you? Yes, I'm sure. Because half of the people that's questioning you wasn't with you shooting in the gym. They wasn't with you when you was crying. If anything, they told you they wasn't going to be with you. They told you from the jump. So, sorry to get so passionate, y'all, but I'm going to release this video. And Miss Latoya, I appreciate the fact that you went forth in God. You have inspired me through my process of healing. And then I know you said this video should be 2 to 3 minutes, but when God wants the story to be out, listen, I tried not to be so long-winded, but I'm just so in love with who I am today. I'm so in love with who I am today. Again, thank you, Miss Latoya Okia, for allowing God to use you, for bringing the kingdom, into awareness. Because see, some of us are not aware. We're not. We just go to church. But we ain't going to talk about that. That's not what I'm here for. This message is about allowing God to take you to your hiding place. The changes for your survival. The changes for your survival. It is up to you to do the work to heal. I wanted my background to be prettier, but listen, if God say press record, it's in you, then do it. I wanted this headband to be off. Matter of fact, hold on, let me see if I can do a little reveal. Hey y'all, hey. Let me take these pins off. So I can look a little decent at the end. You know, that's how God do it. It ain't how you start. It ain't how you start. But it's either you're gonna let God do it or you're not. Either you're gonna let God do it or you're not. And that's how we miss the mark. Because we get scared. We don't know if people are gonna judge us. We get scared. We get scared of the opinions of people. But let them talk, baby. They're going to talk. Look at my edges. But they're going to talk. And if they don't talk, how will your name get out there, baby? God is trying to bring you your audience. God is trying to bring you the people that you're called to. See, I'm not for everybody. And I know I'm not. Because I know God called people to a specific audience. And I'm just out here. I'm just sending this message out to whoever it can relate to. Get out. Allow God to do the change in you so you can come out your hiding place, your new self. See, after the eagle come out of their hiding place, they get new feathers. They get longer beaks, beautiful beaks, and even stronger beaks, because they allowed the change to occur. They didn't forget who they were. So I'm going to stop this video because, again, I wanted it to be shorter. She requested it to be shorter, but God had other plans. Allow the change to occur. The changes that you need for survival, for your next level. Thank you. Again, this is your girl, Addie from AddySpeaks, helping you live your highest potential through your mind, your body, and your spirit.